What's up, everyone? This is yours truly, Mr. Steven, aka The Legend, and you already know my pronouns, so I am not going to say it. And welcome to the Steven Factors. Love on the Spectrums, bigger and weirder. Folks, this is it. This is the moment I'll be waiting for. I finally made it on the finale of this wonderful special series. And also, I finally watched all 4 seasons in the US versions. I want to let you know to express how I feel. And during the end, I will make a grade. And I really don't know I had to say this because it's time for me to let it all out. Now, before I'm going to start, I had to recycling what the show is about. In other words, bring you up to speed. The Love of the Spectrum is an unscripted docu-reality show, not a scripted show, and it features of young autistic adults individuals navigating dating. And it's also with the creator confirmed it is not scripted in any way. However, it is a produced TV show, meaning it used to editing, plan outing, and guiding similar to other documentary styles reality shows. In other words, all the productions decided to pay for all these participants and decide to how they feel that what is really happening into the real world. But also the editing, which is completely terrible for some critics. And also, they have so many controversials, including stereotypes and all kind of stuff as well too. But also, Love of the Spectrum just won 5 nominations for the best reality TV programming. And I don't know why, because I think the show is all about Hollywood bullshit. And Netflix is a part of this Hollywood. It's all about shitty business, money, and let's be honest, I really don't know why you've been doing this, but it is on the production team and the creator himself. I want to express how do I feel about this show. People might gonna ask me like, Steven, how do you feel the Love in the Spectrum these days? And some of the friends will love me to join this show. But guess what? I think this show ain't not gonna happen for yours truly. And also, I think this show was completely insensitive to me. And here's why. Number one, the show is actually based on my real life. Number two, I have overprotected grandparents, and especially my aunt, that she thinks she is my parent. And number three, I was the ex-antisocial. I was isolated. And I don't have any friends during the past. I used to have friends when the inclusion program when I was a kid in a special school. But we're not even socialized a lot. And this really hurts me because I'm really sad about this this younger participants wants to be in that show. People someday that they would definitely might want to be a stars or someday, and people trying looking for love, or people have their own opinions, and even especially for parents. The other hand, please, who gives a fuck about parents? This show is focusing about young people who have autism decide trying to face in the real world, not parents included, because they want to treat their sons and daughters as kids. And let's be honest, it's always about talks. Like for instance, like Lise is hooking up with Connor with this girl named Kate in Nashville, and he's very upset with her and everything. But also Lise and her step husband decided to build a guest house for Connor. And Kian said, "So do you want to get jiggy with it?" Are you kidding me? And during the same time, he wants to show. Connor shows his ex girlfriend Georgie to show the space what this house, a guest house, would be looks like. You know, it's really similar. They built a guest house for me in Santo Domingo that time. And I knew that this show actually based on my real life. But why did they do that? They rich. They want to entertain what the show's about. And also, they become as the next celebrities. That is all about the medium system, folks. It's all about a damn media. And they want me to put me on the spotlight on this Hollywood bullshit? It ain't not gonna happen whatsoever. If you become an advocate as a parent, you need to do this the old-fashioned way. Help your child to update the evaluations. If they ask you some questions, all you gotta do is say no. If you say yes, they will never accept you. Like your disability checks, your program that you in, and also your life will be fucked. All you gotta do is to say no to these things, so you be in a good hands still. And also, if you still have autism, you have to do this. You have to flapping. You have to use stimming. You have to do these things that you still definitely in the middle of this situation. Because when you in this system, you're in the wrong place in the wrong time. And I was there during the beginning. My late grandmother taught me about this. My late grandmother stood up to me to become a good boy I ever wanted to be. And she was a very strong and confident person. And she know all of these things. She learned it from all these things. And now I got it from her, and she got it from me. And since she passed on, I had to do this shit on my own. Just like that. And you know what? You know I'm definitely want to be when I grow up? I will definitely become as a public advocate. And I did since day one. And I knew when my mind tells me, wow, what really happened? Did I missing out? Did I failed? Did I guilty? I just really don't know. I just really don't know whatsoever. And that's not fair. I want to get out more. I want to be active more. I want to spend some time with my family and my friends. I don't want to be staying here and do nothing on this holidays. And holidays really hurts for me. Both Thanksgiving and Christmas. And let's be honest, Christmas is one of my favorites. And I just learned that all the good days were gone. And even the separation during after COVID got hit was sad. And it really hurts a lot. So on this episode, I'm gonna talk about what we have learned of this show. So let's break this down, and after that, I'm gonna show you the facts. Let's talk about editing problems. For example, Madison and Tyler kiss at the beach. Did you know how long that Madison and Tyler kissed at the beach using their baby steps? 2 to 3 minutes long with no editing whatsoever. Are you kidding me? What's going on with the editing? The editing is the most important in this production. And you want to leave it as it is. Like you've been watching a Star Trek, the motion picture. Or even the Dark Knight trilogy. With no editing whatsoever. If you want to make a first kiss, you have to start editing at least like 2 or 3 seconds. And that's it. And that's way too much. And it's really getting on my nerves. Seriously. Do the editing this time, Kian. Or should I say, Sean. Number 2, Emma's awkward silence in 14 seconds. Now, during the bathroom, she was talking to Kian that time. And when she's trying to talk to somebody, they're having a little bit of awkward silence. Like, yeah. I mean, just cut that too. It's even worse. And during the Aspen episode, there's a little bit of recycling when Emma's doing the impressions of Goofy and Mickey Mouse, and this guy trying to close his arms, but not once but twice. The editing was even worse. And it's completely terrible. And even Logan and Haley dating in Las Vegas, there's a little bit of editing problem there when he was doing like this, and the editing to the next scene like this, and again, and this, and again, and again. This, it's way too much. It's going like a little bit of jump cuts as well too. So the problem of this situation is all about editing. Let's go for the next one. Number 2. More LGBTQIA plus storylines and more diversity. Now, just want to let you know, on the season 4, they editing the finale to put Perry Kim and Tina for one last time for the LGBTQ viewers. And they've been thinking about their future together and everything. However, they've been jump on the scene during the engagement party with Tyler and Madison, and then Perry Kim and Tina were here to say hi, to reunite for everybody, and all kind of stuff. Just a little, just for a little bit for the storylines. But the problem of this situation is editing. They've been focusing more cisgenders rather than LGBTQ. And some viewers really don't like that. They're trying to keep focusing about more relationships of the LGBTQ community. And that is not fair, though. They need to do a little bit less cisgender storyline into more LGBT storyline. Period. And also, it needs more diversity. White upper middle class, I don't know why y'all been catching with that. And I don't know where do you get this money from, trying to build a guest house, and you're trying to bring your shorty over, do a little jiggy whip, do a little bit of pampara and all kind of BS. It's got to stop. This bullshit's got to stop. It's really got to stop. What do you think you are? You become as the next housewives, the real housewives on Love of the Spectrum? Give me a freaking break. You're not a main star in the show. Including Lise and Nikki become as besties, or should I say momsties, to be on the spotlight of Talk to Me Sis podcast and talk about spilling the tea, what's happening on the show. Controversials and conspiracy theories of autism. What the hell? Do you think this is a joke? It's not. The show is all about people with autism. People been isolated in their lives. People getting bullied. People getting isolated. People still treating as freaking kids, like 8-year-olds, for Christ's sake. And I was one of them, you know. I remember one time when I told my late grandmother, I said, let me just go to the movies and come back. But she knows she's been worried about me a lot. And I remember I was only 17 years old when I finished my high school graduation. She still very worries about me. And I told her, let me do it. So I went down in the subway, buy something for my grandmother at the beauty supply store. I took a 4 train there to Neville Street. And all of a sudden, I finally took a train and came back from here. You know why? Because when I was in high school, I know about the MTAs. I know about the street signs. I know about the names. I know about the train numbers to go and back. And guess what? She's still proud of me. Because I remember one time when I was a toddler, she took me to downtown with the stroller. And let me tell you, she was a strong lady. And back in the days, downtown Brooklyn was always used to be. You know, the Fulton Mall used to be the Toys R Us that time. There's Nobody Beats the Riz at the original store at Fulton Street back in the days. Modell's, McDonald's, Mr. Fulton, everything. Because as a parent, you have to become as a freaking advocate. And you need to teach children what is going on in the real world before they're passing away. God forbid. And when the parents passes away, y'all need to do that shit on your own. And this is for your all young autistic people. Like I said, y'all not kids anymore. Y'all grown adults. Stop playing with all these stuffed ass animals. Get rid of them and give it to all of these toys. To all the younger generations. Period. And second of all, stop talking about I'm looking for a prince or princess charming. This is way too childish. Way too childish. So anyways, we need more diversity with people of color. We need more people of color focusing on that. More blacks, less white, and more LGBT diversity. Because this is way too much. This is way too much. Let's talking about the outing experience. Autism adults needs to going to even more outings like movie theaters, Broadway shows, go to bars and shit. Thinking about the real atmosphere. Do that to all of these kids. And experience it with that. You know, I did that Legend Madness for 2 freaking years. And it was so successful. And all my friends and my family come here to support me, to sing happy birthday to me. And that's why I'm trying to follow my grandmother's footsteps tradition. But since during almost 3 months ago, it went backfired. Those white-ass Kardashians took my backspace without no reservation whatsoever. And there's a little bit of miscommunication. And I was so upset as hell. And let me tell you, I don't play no freaking games. That fancy free feels like you're in a damn house party. And that's what I always wanted. I want a low-key, chill vibes. What's up with that? Come on. Retool that show. Let's talk about upgrade the music. The Love in the Special episode is all about, all about upgrade the music. And it's not all about like a drama or suspense music. They trying to use a music like more like cartoony-ish to connect it into the autism level. Like Sesame Street, Rugrats, Looney Tunes, The Simpsons, and you know all the rest. But what kind of music would they want to play? So according to this, all they did is use it's called pizzicato. It's a technique for playing strings instruments like violin, viola, cello, and bass. When the performer plucks the strings with their fingers rather than a bow. Just like that. Just like that. And also, let's go to that next one. Ugh, too many animal shots, including mating at each other. Are you kidding me? I remember that episode when Connor took his dog, meet this other girl from the from the speed dating, and all of a sudden dogs are humping at each other, which is kind of gross, especially for ducks too. When Danny saw that, why they want to show that? Do you think it's funny or something? I just really don't know. Likes and dislikes. Now, they got that from the movie called Emily, and the show wants to do it likes and dislikes based on that movie. Now, like for example, when a person is looking for someone, let's pretend I'm ready for my first date, and I saw this person named Barry. They introduced Barry. She likes meditation, exercise, singing karaoke. However, she dislikes rats, big swimming pools, or even the lack of diversity. And also, sometimes they do some weird dislikes, like or weird stuff, weird likes or dislikes. Talking about cows taking a poop, or even stupid pranks, or eating crunchy, loud noises. That's how the likes of dislikes is. Let's talking about Abby's dog. Did you know they're talking about Abby's dog named Clementine? Yeah, they talking about Abby's. They talking about her ass. Okay, it's been revealed that Abby's dog Clementine have anal surgery. Yeah, it's all about her dog's ass. And his mother decided to jump in, talks about it, and it is completely weird. Terrible. I had to fast forward. Meanwhile, David came in, which is Abby's ex-boyfriend, and they've been paused for the next 4 seconds, and they talking about Clementine's ass, the anal surgery. Gross. Oh yeah, I forgot I mentioned during the intro, they just used a deleted scene when Abby said, "What if he's gonna give me a wedding ring?" But at the end of the intro, it's been revealed it was Tyler opened that wedding ring, and he proposed to Madison, not David and Abby. You had to keep in mind the P's and Q's. Give Steve Spitz have his own show, period. Remember I've been mentioning this 68-year-old man has autism living in San Francisco? Yeah, that's my fan favorite, Steve Spitz. And I want to make it short, but I think Steve Spitz will deserve an Emmy or something. Because this guy is a very amazing dude. He is not a toy collector like me. He is not like then he's not like a childish like and said like I'm looking for the Prince Charming or something like that. But his voice is so unique. It feels like you're in crystal clear. Like he is so charming, helpful, like Mr. Rogers. and his voice sounds like you're living. It feels like when you're trying to use that voice, you feel like you're in a good person, and that is the most important thing in in your life. Your voice is a special gift with people that you really love. And let me tell you, his voice is spot on. Um, like Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh. Give this guy do a little bit of voice acting. And just remember, I went to his website. His sister trying to hook him up and doing the voice demos. And I hope he will make a perfect fit. And hopefully his friends will hook them up. His sister will hook him up and do some voices. So hopefully it'll be even better. And remember, since his dad passed away, he gave him his $18 million. Wow. God bless him. God bless him. Okay, let's talking about the parents. Now almost like 31 minutes ago, we've been talking about the parents. And I think parents and people with kids with autism will become as hectic as hell. And let's be honest, I was one of them. And let me tell you something. I'm 37 years old, and I can speak my own right. Period. Every time when people might gonna ask me how much money did I spend, or talk about the rent bullshit, let me do what the hell I gotta do. Because this is my pride and my own rights. According to the study Stride ABA, it confirms that only around 87% of young autistic adults living in their parents some point after high school. And they also, it's been meaning the highlights of the challenges many face for the achieving independence due to the various factors such as economics, attitudes, constraints, societal and daily living skills. And the parents need to help these kids to teach about living independent skills like cooking, cleaning, doing laundry. Yeah, that was me. I've been there before. Do you know what the show is about anyway? You know what the really show is about? It's about all these young autistic people don't have no life, so Kean decide to help these parents to bring all these people with disabilities only, but not people with disabilities, so they could hang out and have fun and come back and they say, "How's your day?" Blah blah blah. And during the next day, people might gonna call you or ask you in person, "Hey man, I'm not ready for the romantically in relationship yet. We're not boyfriend and girlfriend. We're not besties. All you gotta do is just be friends." Yeah, I had that before. I had the same situation before. People have their own boundaries. And I really understand that. Because after what happened on Fancy Free, it was messed up. Period. And I really do agree with my friend did. When I read that text, I understand. But I'm not into a relationship either. And what they did, they messed it up. Big time. And you know I'm hurt too. I'm hurt and embarrassed. Same thing from Crown Heights Community Group. When the Lotiers, Jenny and Chris, become as my ex-deacons, and they became what they think they are. They became like my boss or something like that. And Jenny said to me, "Do you have a crush on this girl?" I say no. Because I don't have any friends. I was overthinking. I was fat as hell. And I'm trying to get back on track until the Lord will give me a miracle. But guess what? The Lord already gave me a miracle. this man came up to me, gave me a job offer, and I got hired from Manhattan Youth after not one but two interviews. First one I didn't make the cut, but second, middle school, I made the cut. And I hired during the next day, January 31st, 2022. And they should know that. And just want to let you know, I'm happy to report the Lutiers and myself are no longer friends. Period. But like I said, parents need to do something to the old-fashioned way. Send these kids to do the evaluations, do the programming, okay? Help them with the assurance, do the waiver application, do the housing, save a lot of money, and also find a real jobs, find a real freaking careers, man. What's Connor do for the living? Acting? I know this show changed people's lives from acting, but we need to get these kids some real jobs, part-time jobs. And also, I don't appreciate it how the show trying to keep hide their money, because they still very concerned about people living with autism have disability checks and everything, because the government might gonna track them down. Get them something and put the money where their mouth is. Y'all do this for Hollywood. Period. %87%. Y'all been thinking about building a guest house, renovate, trying to get this young man some privacy. What am I going to happen next until their parents passed away? God forbid. He needs to get his life together. He needs to get a nice friend or a special person who needs the most. Can't believe it's showing Georgie what the guest house really looks like. For what? For what? Try and make you embarrass yourself. Parents are nothing but a show-offs. And you think this show is cute. It's not. And thank goodness James and Shelly decide to find their own apartment. But we don't know what will happen next during the 5th season. That's it. Now let's talk about Dylan. Now Dylan is a 4th season candidate to be part of this show. And I really want to have to say this. I want to say this confessionally. Excuse me again. Dylan does have no life. His mother trying to set him up to be part of the show, and decided to looking for love. Right? Looking for Prince Charming, looking for become a dad, But what about his job? What happened to his career? Hopefully they will hook him up in again on the 5th season. But you know what really bothers me? Stuck in his house all freaking day while his mother's at work. From 8:30 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. when she gets home. Stays home all day. And they ain't been sitting down on the couch, comforting on the pillows, that there are buddies and stuff. And it was sad. And it is actually based on me. When I was unemployed, I feel lonely sometimes. Sometimes I'm watching TV. Film makes me comfort. Yeah. And even my cousin just called me and trying to push me and everything. Pressure on me to be a good man wherever I wanted to be. But guess what? I did. But that's just only the beginning. So, moving on. He's getting ready for his first date. His mother's trying to iron his clothes. Like, she thinks that he's still his baby boy. Baby boy. And heading to the Wild Wild West. He met this girl named Caroline. And this day is completely awkward. I don't know why. It's not exactly what I have in mind. And during at the end, he said, "I think you are the good one for me." And he's been thinking about the second date. So, a week later, he was very happy. And he's been talking about sitting in his spot. And he farted. And no one's going to sit in his spot because of that. And Keaton asks him, "How do you feel about Caroline?" And he's still very happy. But during that time, the phone's ringing, and I don't know why they've been editing some shots to shots to shots. Oh my God, this is way too much of it. This is way too much of it. Okay. Caroline just called. And she told Dylan the truth that she's not ready for a relationship yet. And she just wanted to be friends. And that's why I'm trying to make him sad. And let me show you the sample. How it started, how's it going? How it started, how's it going? That's how people been the express of the emotions where you have autism. And I have some of the facts about Let's Be Friends here. And it goes like this. It was completely normal to feel intense emotions and want to talk to step back to be friends. Being an autism spectrum means you might process emotions and social cues differently. And it is a very healthy to communicate exactly what you need. Why this feeling is common. Sensory and social energy. First dates require masking and reading subtle social cues, which can cause intense anxiety and burnout. Wanting a friendship first allows you to get to know each other with zero pressure. That's what I did since day one. And I'm sick and tired of people been stabbing me in my back with this gossiping, including the church, the Apostles Church Brooklyn. And I'm not feeling going back there anymore because due to this lack of diversity, it ain't gonna change that. Deep connection. Autistic individuals often experience deep, rapid emotional bonds or special interests. Taking a step back helps you to pace yourself and protect your mental health. How communicate? Let's just be friends talk. Being direct and honest is usually the best approach. You don't have to over explain, just be clear about your boundaries. Option 1, in person. And I quote, I had a really nice time with you, but I feel like we move a different pace. I love to get to know you better as a friend first, if you're open to that. And that is okay. We need to learn from all the people with that. With people who have disabilities and not people with disabilities. That's all. Or in text, option 2. Thank you so much for a great date. I'm still figuring out my feelings and will love to just be friends for now. Let me know if you are up for hanging out casually. Tips. And oh yeah, and just to let you know, if you're gonna say yes or no, all you gotta do just say yes, just be friends, be besties. Trying to get to know person know better because you're in the wrong place at the wrong time. Okay? Tips for keeping a friendship. Define expectations. Ensure both of you are okay with a just friends dynamic. Focusing on shared interests. Use your mutual hobbies or passions to plan low pressure and low sensory hangouts. I will get back to that for a second. And be clear about your boundaries. It is okay to set clear limits on how often you text or see each other so you don't feel overwhelmed. That's fine. I like that. Let's talk about low sensory hangouts. Now, during the episode on Love of the Spectrum, Madison is having a date with Brandon, and the truth is he has sensory issues at times. And also, things are not definitely go well. And they decide trying to take him out. However, Madison just realized, okay, I'm sorry, I don't like him. Dump him. I'm going somewhere else. I need another Prince Charming. Yeah, it happens to everybody in living in a spiritual world. But just want to let you know, I feel sorry for Brandon. I know he's been going through, and it's actually based on me with his sensory issues. And I knew that I wish Brandon all the best, and hopefully in the future he might see again, and hopefully how he's been doing. But there's another sensory issue that I really want to share. That Maddie, or should I say Madison, I'm sorry, because when I say that word, Maddie, she doesn't like her nickname. Because the fan just say hi to Madison, and she doesn't like that at all. Whatsoever. She really doesn't like that nickname. And that's the part of the sensory issues. Do you remember The Good Doctor? When the episode called Influence, right? Sean Murphy saved the influencer's life, and he just realized it's time for celebrate. And all of a sudden, the influencer posting on the social media without his consent. Yeah. He wants to become focusing as his private person. And Sean said, you don't have to write to report me. And let me tell you something, it's actually based on real lives. And I'm telling you right now, if someone's trying to look at my video and want me to interviewing for Love on the Spectrum, you have to send my videos before the consent. Don't send the videos without my consent. And it's not cool. It's not cool. But like I said, I did the interview, but it's not guaranteed. But in the future, don't do it again. However, one of the writers decided trying to make a motivation, as Dr. Sean Murphy's famous quotes. After the influencer said to Sean, I'm ready to come out. It's about who we are. And Dr. Sean Murphy said, and I quote, we are the decisions we make, and you let other people make them for you. You're not being anyone. So the question is, what does that mean? It means a call to take a personal accountability. And it also means that your identity is built entirely on the choices that you make if you constantly let others dictate your actions. You lose your individuality and simply become as a reflection of what they want you to be. But here's the breakdown. Your choice shapes your identity. Every decision, big or small, reveals your values, priorities, and character. Passive is still a choice. Deferring to others, instant avoiding indecision is a conscious choice to hand over your power and lose your true self when you let others run your life. Let me read that shit again so y'all zillennials don't know effing understand this. Y'all guys want to be as the next modern comedians and want to become as the spotlight, but guess what? Y'all not ready yet. Y'all not famous yet. You have to take baby steps at a time. So just remember that. Lose yourself. Hold on. Damn. You lose your true self when you let the others run your life. You're in living when you're living authentically, you become of an extension of them, rather your own unique person. That's it. That's it. And let me tell you something. It happened to everyone. So, just be mindful. I'll be back for my final thought right after this. What we have learned tonight that this show was not my cup of tea. That show was completely uncomfortable and insensitive. I knew that these young autistic adults needs to face their real world. And just want to let you know, I think that this show really learned something. That I never done this before. When I was at the training session at the Manhattan Youth, talking about sensory issues, talking about who you really are, and even some of your family members been diagnosed with autism, and there's nothing that you can do about it. It's nothing how you could cure it. You know, autism it came from the genetics over 100 years ago, and it's still continuing this day. But the only thing that we need to cure is education. When you educate, you need to use your brain to get back to basics. From learning to growing. I really do feel sorry for all these young adults don't know what's going on in their world in their mid-20s. And I feel sorry about those parents shouldn't have taught them early until they grow up in the mid-18 through mid-20 to 30 years old. Without no partner, or don't know learn about the birds and the bees, or they're very worried. And the truth is, parents are still very worried every single day. 24/7, 365 days a year. And I was one of them. My grandma was worried a lot, but she always believes in me. And sometimes when I always call to see how she's doing, she was okay. And I've been worried her too. But when she passed on, my aunt took it over and she wanted to be just like her mom. However, it's not the same. This show really taught me about who the hell I really am. And also it really taught me that actually based on my life. I don't care that this show is a dating show or a reality documentary or the reality show. I just don't care. I think this format will not gonna make the cut from the next season and beyond. And I do believe the final season, it will be somewhere between season 6 through 8. And I really don't know. There's so many 1,000 participants want to participate in this, and some autistic adults doesn't know better what this show is really about. Let's just say you must be humiliating yourself. And when you burn out, you might gonna say, mom, dad, unks, aunts, brother or sister, or your best friend, I cannot do this anymore. I need to find my own path. And this shit starts today. I don't care you're gonna build this stupid guest house. I don't care that you become as like a total superstar celebrity. But I just need to keep focusing on my social and my private life. And let's be honest, I really do have friends who've been trusted. Even my buddy Jake hooked me up, but not once but twice. Put me as a background actor for the lives we make and Cold Plunge. But I have news for you. Jake and I will continue to do these future projects together. And maybe someday, they will call my name. With no paparazzis whatsoever. And no influencers whatsoever. In the words of E.E. Cummings said, and I quote, "The hardest challenge is to be yourself in a world where everyone is trying to make you be somebody else." In other words, you need to fit your own crowd with diversity. Number one. Number two, finding your own path. Start planning today to apply so many programs for people who have disabilities, from OPWDD housings. Start your new evaluations, update with them, and make sure you make those kids fail to be on that path. Make sure you need to go to the Social Security office and find some old archives from the past evaluations when your child's diagnosis, and start planning today. And I was one of them. And also, finally, number three, against your own battles. You need to step up to yourself and your future. Don't stay in this house for way too long in the mid-30s to 40s, because it will go on messed up, and it will definitely go on messed up of your life. Period. And I know exactly what I'm going to do. I mean, I don't care the show is popular. Let them be in the spotlight. Do it with a Comic Con. Post it on Instagram or something. Do a little bit of entertainment tonight. I'm not being a part of this. Do you think you want to treat these young autistic adults become superstars someday? Or be a part as a Nickelodeon or Disney Channel? Or the PBS Kids shows? That's all them. They have money. And Netflix and Hollywood are the shittiest business in the world. It's all about the money. And be sensational on YouTube. And now, time for the grade. I'm going to grade The Love on the Spectrum a C minus. And the show is become one of my least favorite, but it's not. And I knew that what the show is really all about. But I just wish this show, Will Mike gonna cancel it and retool it for the older adults. not the younger adults. And I just want to say this: they need to make a perfect spin-off called "Where Are They Now?" And during the age differences, age gap between 20 to 30 to 62, it's too much. And I'm really sorry. I'm not gonna be a part of this show. I'm just trying to focusing on myself. Too much drama about the breakups and want to make friends. The music was terrible. It was sad. It was totally sad. And I just don't want to be a part of it, okay?